Hello everybody and welcome back to the channel. For today's video we're going to be taking a look at the Takara Tomy Transformers MB-16 Movie the Best Revenge of the Fallen Leader Class Jetfire. This has been for the longest time one of my all-time favourite live action movie figures, as this was indeed actually a super awesome childhood toy that I used to have way back in 2010/2011, and in today's video we're going to be taking a look at potentially the best redeco of this guy that has ever existed, that of course being the Movie the Best version. Now, as mentioned in my previous review for the Dino Ride Strafe and Bumblebee, I do plan on taking a look at pretty much all of the figures from this Takara Tomy subline, so if there is a specific character or figure you guys would like me to take a look at in the next video, definitely be sure to let me know down in the comment section below. And we're definitely starting off with not only one of the biggest Movie the Best releases, but by far one of the best. Takara Tomy absolutely appear to have knocked it out of the park where this redeco is concerned. Now, we'll very quickly take a look here at the box art. This is in fact enormous, even bigger than my actual review station, so I'm going to try my absolute best to showcase this package in its entirety. But you can see straight away we've got an awesome CG render there of Jetfire based on Revenge of the Fallen. That just looks so awesome. Of course, we've got this enormous window view display showcasing him in his awesome Lockheed SR-71 Blackbird jet mode. That there looks super awesome, and I was actually quite taken back at just how large this jet mode was. I haven't transformed my original version for quite a few years now, and it's safe to say that this is probably one of the biggest alternate modes that we've ever seen for a mass-produced mainline Transformers figure of all time. As we spin our attention here to the back of the box, you can see we've got some promotional shots of Jetfire in both robot mode as well as jet mode, and it also does showcase that he is cross-compatible with the Revenge of the Fallen Leader Class Optimus Prime, of course, to form jet-powered Prime, which I may in fact actually touch base with in a later video, and you can also see some still images from a couple of the live action movies. So with all that being said, let's crack open this Movie the Best Jetfire and see whether or not this figure is in fact actually the best representation of this character that we have ever seen. And behold, the glory of Jetfire! Here we have him cracked open, and of course, as he comes packaged in this awesome SR-71 Lockheed Martin jet mode, and I think they've done an absolute fantastic job. This Movie the Best version is without a doubt the best representation we've ever seen for this particular mold of the 2009 Leader Class Jetfire. It just looks awesome, and I was actually quite taken back at how much detail they've been able to pack in to the jet mode alone. It definitely does put the Studio Series offering to shame in my personal opinion. Now, we'll waste no time at all, as there is in fact actually quite a lot to discuss about this piece, and of course delve straight here into the details. Straight away, the first thing you're going to notice is just how enormous this truly is. This is probably one of the biggest Leader Class alt modes that I have in my entire collection, and that's saying something, as I have in fact actually collected Leader Class figures since around about 2011, so this thing definitely does put a lot of those more recent figures to shame, and it's even bigger than I'd say the Commander Class Jetfire that we saw as part of the War for Cybertron line. Now, as we bring this in here for a closer look, you can see the attention to detail where the nose cone is concerned. I think looks awesome. As we actually flip it here to this side, we've got some tiny minute details which do in fact actually match the real jet that they used in Transformers Revenge of the Fallen, so that is such a nice touch by both the team over at Hasbro and Takara. You can see how we've got Jetfire tempoed here on the side, and I really do like this red striping detailing that we've got going on. Whilst incredibly subtle, it really does help to pop and just stand out from the black plastic. And as we take a look here at some of these actual wing pieces, you can see we've got the Decepticon insignia as well as the skunk logo, and I love how we've got the Decepticon logo here actually scratched out to give you the impression that of course he's changed sides to the Autobot, and the same can also be said here for this particular wing. Now, you can see as far as the detail is concerned, I think it looks really awesome. We've got all of this fantastic sculpted in detail where the actual panels are concerned, and then as we flip here to the underside, considering Jetfire is in fact actually quite a big chunky robot, I think they've done a pretty good job in, for the most part, creating a sleek looking jet. I don't think that the kibble is as bad as, say, the likes of some of the Voyager figures that we're seeing nowadays, so definitely I do think they did a fantastic job. As we take a look here at the underside, we've got this massive Gatling gun which does in fact actually still possess the awesome spring-loaded mechanism, so you can have Jetfire commanding it to fire and blasting that halfway across the room. Of course, we've got proper real working landing gear. Now, this is created out of his walking stick / cane, so I thought that was a great use of some of those robot mode components, and then these back ones here to also roll. However, sadly, do have a tendency to collapse, especially if you do just kind of prop him along the ground. And considering that this here does hinge backwards, if you do kind of proceed to roll him along the ground, 9 times out of 10 here, this section here will just kind of dip down, creating for a slightly unsightly look. But overall, definitely an impeccable looking jet mode. Those thrusters or turbines look so nicely done. Even here at the back, you can see we've got some nice sculpt work actually going on there for the interior. And something else of which is completely different when in comparison to the original Hasbro offering is the sound chip. Now for robot mode, at least for me, it's slightly pointless just as all of the phrases are in Japanese. But here for jet mode, they have in fact actually taken what appears to be movie sounds exactly from Revenge of the Fallen. So if we push this button here, you'll hear... we do get a really awesome jet noise, and then the second sound is his actual transformation sound that we see when he does transform in the museum. So you can hear there various different panels clanking and combusting together. I just thought that was such a nice touch. And as mentioned previously, without a doubt, the best version of the live action movie Jetfire in my personal opinion. Now, transformation wise, considering this is a Revenge of the Fallen figure, believe me when I say he's definitely on the more complex side. And it's in fact actually going to be quite big. So I may have to raise the camera up for some parts of this review. But first of all, you're going to want to flip here to the underside and take the cane here, open the hands, and just detach this section. We can then take the Gatling gun, remove this and set that here off to the side. And then as we come here to the legs, just disengage these sections and ratchet these here all the way down to the back, just like this. We can then come here to the front, and this thing is just so massive. We're then going to want to split this section just like so, hinge those arms out to the sides. And then as far as these are concerned, I believe that you're going to want to take them, push them down and extend them just to allow for some clearance. So hinge these sections out to the side, which will essentially break the almost spine here of the robot mode, allowing for all of these panels to break up, which I thought was really awesome. We'll then want to extend this panel, take this section here and split this just like so, hinge this section up, and as per tradition with Jetfire, as you would expect, the panels are popping off all over the place, which I actually thought was a pretty decent touch by the design team back in 2009. Whether or not it was intentional or not, I still thought that it was a pretty awesome, almost gimmick. So we're then going to want to just peg that back in, and then as we turn our attention to this piece, you're going to want to fold the arms down here at the shoulders, come to this side, and rinse and repeat, and then we can basically shift this entire section up and then collapse this in upon itself. And I do believe we should hear a transformation sound around about now. Once again, so awesome and incredibly movie accurate to the actual noise he makes when he transforms in the film. So that is super cool. As we come back here to the legs, you're just going to want to orientate these sections forwards, compress the landing gear down. We can then flip out the heel spurs here for the robot mode, and the color scheme for bot mode is just absolutely fantastic. I'll quickly raise the camera up just so that you guys can get a better perspective as to what's going on. You'll then want to take these arm panels, detach those, and just snap these sections here into place. Bring these down. And then, of course, rinse and repeat here for this side. Fold out the whiskers, something along the lines of this. Take these thrusters, peg those sections there into place. And then as far as these panels are concerned, I believe they just kind of rotate there to the back. Take this section, hinge this down. And then for some finishing touches, you'll want to bring back in the Gatling gun, and it will peg into this pin here on the inside of the arm. So just snap that there. And as far as the cane is concerned, here for jet mode, it is something along the lines of this. You're just going to want to straighten this out. And of course, wrap the hand around the grip, and there we have Jetfire fully transformed up into his astonishing looking robot mode. And of course, it could be childhood bias, but I really do think this is by far one of the best versions of the live action movie Jetfire that we've ever seen, and Takara have knocked it out of the park where this more movie accurate movie the best color scheme comes into play. Now as we just bring him in here for a closer look, as you guys can see, an incredibly thick, bulky and chunky leader class. Back in 2009, this was considered a small leader. I'll be sure to bring out the Revenge of the Fallen fallen Optimus in just a second, but if you were to compare this to today's standards, my goodness, it just absolutely blows them out of the water. The quality was next level back in the day, but you can see as far as the head sculpt is concerned, for a figure of which was originally released way back in 2009, I think they did a smashing job. You can see all of that mechanical detail. I really love the transparent blue plastic that we've got here for the actual nose cone. Of course, this is a faux piece, as I do believe the cockpit does end up here on the side of the arms, but not looking too bad whatsoever. You can see the whiskers here off to the side, as well as the beard, and that mechanical sculpt work just looks so awesome as we work our way down here to the torso. Once again, really cool attention to detail. This does in fact actually possess a Mecha Live gimmick, which I'll showcase in just a second, but you can see here for the shoulders, I think the gunmetal grey they've used, as well as these almost bronze highlights, just complement each other so nicely, and without a doubt, this destroys the original almost blue colour scheme that we saw on the original mass release version. You can see what appears to be the almost turbine sections here on the side of the arms, when in reality I do believe they end up somewhere along the lines here of the back, and you can see as we just work our way down here to the lower section of the thighs, I think the sculpt work looks awesome. Once again, some of that Mecha Live detailing going on when you actually rotate this section. That gold there looks super awesome, and the foot design is just incredible. Now, as we spin our attention here to the back, despite this guy actually having a ton of kibble, I actually think this is fairly movie accurate. Of course, he did have this almost broken spine look in the film, and this is definitely more along the lines of what we saw. Now, granted, there are some combining pieces here that you'll utilize in order to almost harness him to Optimus, but if anything, these kind of remind me of the parachute that shoots out of him just before he's about to deploy the space bridge and transport the humans to Egypt. And you can see we've got these sections here, which I believe are the only areas of which are incredibly inaccurate. I think in the film they do become these sections, and that is something that the Studio Series version has perfected. So in that regard, he's inaccurate, but just overall as an actual figure himself and display piece, I really do think this guy is next level. Now, as far as the actual Mecha Live gimmick is concerned, as mentioned previously, he does have a complete brand new voice chip, but considering all of the phrases are in Japanese, I honestly don't have any idea as to what he's saying, but we'll just very quickly run through it for demonstration purposes. So you're going to want to take this switch here, pull it down, and of course it will make Jetfire emit quite a few fair different phrases. So as mentioned previously, I have no idea as to what he's saying, but the actual Mecha Live gimmick as well as some of those LEDs are awesome. You can see how the head here does light up with a nice red. We've also got some red lights in there, and all of the cogs do in fact actually spin and move around when you do toggle this switch. So overall, definitely just such a fantastic figure. As mentioned previously, we still do have the missiles, so you can have Jetfire commanding the doors to fire, and of course blasting away at those. And we do have the cane here, which 9 times out of 10 will find itself wriggling out of Jetfire's hand. Now, as far as articulation goes, considering the head does in fact actually possess that Mecha Live gimmick, it is pretty much just stuck to the mechanism, so you can just kind of tilt it ever so slightly side to side. But we do get ratchet joints here at the shoulders, ratchet joints there forwards and backwards, full bicep rotation, as well as a hinge joint there at the elbow, and you can see flaming bits falling off. We also do get a wrist rotation. The fingers can hinge forwards and backwards, ratchet joints here where the thighs are concerned, swivel here just below where the knee is, and of course a ratchet joint forwards and backwards. And depending on your preference, you could also articulate these turbines or thrusters to your own personal desire. So overall, just such an impeccable piece. As mentioned previously, without a doubt, one of my favorite live action movie figures of all time. Turning here to some size comparisons, here we have the movie The Best Jetfire on the right and the original Hasbro 2009 offering on the left. And in my personal opinion, the gunmetal as well as the bronze they've gone with here for the Takara edition just looks so much more movie accurate, when in contrast here to the blue. Kind of around 2009-2011, Hasbro had a tendency on basically using blue plastic on characters of which were basically gunmetal or black in the movie. Of course, Ironhide also suffered this as part of the Dark of the Moon toy line, so I'm really not quite sure as to why these characters here were cast in blue plastic, but really awesome looking figures. You can see they don't even in fact actually fit in the full frame of my camera, as they are massive. And talking of scale, as mentioned previously, I did state that this Jetfire was regarded as a small leader back in 2009, just as here was kind of the standard, that being the Revenge of the Fallen Optimus Optimus Prime, and you can see this guy's in fact actually quite a bit taller when in comparison to Jetfire. So back in the day, these figures truly were in a league of their own, and if you were to compare these alongside some of the now basically Voyager Plus figures that are selling for leader class price point, these would absolutely blow them out of the water. These truly were next level in my personal opinion. Now, as mentioned previously, I do plan on in fact actually reviewing the movie The Best version of the Revenge of the Fallen Optimus, and once I conclude that review, of course, I will in fact actually showcase the combination between the both, of course, to form Jet Power Prime. And so, some final thoughts for this Transformers MB-16 movie The Best, Revenge of the Fallen Leader Class Jetfire. Overall, I just think this is a fantastic figure. As mentioned at the beginning of this review, I've always regarded this as being one of the ultimate live-action movie figures that we got originally back in the day, and it was indeed actually for the longest time one of my favourite figures of all time. I really do think it's a fantastic representation of how Jetfire appeared in the Revenge of the Fallen, even giving the Studio Series version, which may be more accurate in certain areas, a run for its money. I do just think the attention to detail where the SR-71 jet mode is concerned is so well done. The inclusion of electronics just set this apart from pretty much any of the modern leader class figures, and it really and truly didn't actually affect the overall look of the bot as well as jet mode. I really do think they did a fantastic job in capturing both modes, especially when comparing it to how he appeared in the movie. I think the robot mode looks awesome. The attention to detail is wicked, especially where some of those mechanical components are concerned. The chest, all of the different gears that we've got going on in the thighs, as well as the gears in the torso, and not to forget that wicked looking head sculpt and the cane accessories, so cool, as so is the firing missile. And of course, just to bump this guy up even higher on my list as being one of my favorite figures of all time, he does in fact actually combine with the already amazing Revenge of the Fallen Leader Class Optimus Prime. I would love to hear your thoughts down in the comment section below. What do you guys think of this old Leader Class Jetfire? Do you find it to be better than the modern Studio Series offering? And in regards to the movie The Best Deco, do you guys agree with me in saying that this is undoubtedly the best version of this mold that we have so far ever seen? I'd love to hear your thoughts down in the comment section below, and of course, please sound off letting me know what character or figure you guys would like me to take a look at next in this Takara Tomy movie The Best subline. I thank you all so much for watching, and until my next video, I'll see you then. Thanks for watching.